for the protection of these rights. Basically, the whole understanding or the whole idea about privacy is that an individual should be free from unwarranted interference from members of the public. He should have his own private affair that should be kept away from the public. So a situation where such affairs are disclosed to members of the public without the person's authorization or consent, it is a violation of the person's right to privacy. And it has been interpreted by the courts. For instance, by 1965, the American Supreme Court gave a proper interpretation of what privacy is. And to them, they narrowed it down to the right of married couples to have even access to contraceptives. Because remember, Section 37 of the Constitution makes provisions for the privacy of citizens to their homes, correspondence, being it telephone, being it telegram, communications of any kind. So the whole idea is that as a private citizen, you should be free to live your life unhindered. You're under fundamental right because you can't discuss privacy or the right to privacy in isolation. It's a component or an extension of the right to life, because for you to have freedom of, the right to live, you must exercise your private affair without any form of interference. That doesn't mean that this right is absolute. Yeah, there are instances where these rights are balanced, with the interests of national security, and all that.
So this leads us to the question, do we as Nigerians have rights to privacy? And if yes, what are the rights under the Privacy Act?
And unfortunately, in Nigeria, we don't have the Privacy Act. Whereas the United States have a Privacy Act, in Nigeria we don't have. But that doesn't mean that the right to privacy is not respected under Nigerian law. Section 37 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, which is the ground known, has made sufficient provisions that protect the right to privacy of citizens. Now, that section is sufficient enough. It has been interpreted by the court to include even one's right to unreasonable, unlawful arrest. When you are unlawfully arrested or maybe your house is searched unlawfully, it is an infringement of that right to privacy. Because a search should only be conducted when there is reasonable suspicion of commission of a crime. So when there is no any lawful justification and your house is searched or your phones, are assessed by security agencies without any lawful cause, it is a violation of your right to privacy. Because your phone is your private property and the state should respect that. Except if there is any suspicion or you're under investigation, then that intervention or maybe more of a shift from this right is allowed by the law.
Okay, a situation whereby maybe you were involved in maybe a situation and you were out at the spot to surrender your phone for further investigations, maybe by the authorities. Is that right?
But most times it's unfortunate that in Nigeria this right is observed in breach. Because in cases where there is even no cause for such, because you don't just have the right to search someone's property or house or like the case may be. There should be a warrant authorizing you to do that. And the warrant specifies what and what you are supposed to search, right? So you don't just stop someone by the road and then begin to access the person's phone.
Okay.
Yes.
So in this case, there is maybe an ongoing investigation. Yes.
Right.
And you were invited to be questioned and all, and then you were asked to submit your phone for further investigations.
Of course, if there is reasonable suspicion that you have committed a crime, then it is still in order, right?
To submit.
Yes, it is still in order to submit that. Now, how relevant is the investigation to the phone? Okay. Is another issue. Because, for instance, you can be investigating something that pertains to rape, and then you are asking someone to surrender his phone. How relevant is that? But if, for instance, you are investigating either maybe there was a kidnapping where ransom was paid and then there were phone conversations and all that, and then there is need to establish link between the suspect who is under investigation, then it will be out of place to access the person's phone, right, with the purpose of gathering the necessary evidence to nail the suspect to the alleged crime. In the absence of that, there is no justification if there is no connection or link between the subject of investigation and then the property you are seeking to access.
Okay, sir. So what are the elements of rights to this privacy?
Yes. Now, basically, just like in the elementary definition of privacy, I said, the right to be left alone. Now, man deserves that freedom, to be free. Now, these rights, there are inalienable rights of citizens. The state only recognizes them. The state does not provide for them. It is your entitlement by nature. Man is entitled to these rights. Now, when you look at it in the general sense of it, that right protects unnecessary publicity of private citizens. It protects your name and image. For instance, your photograph shouldn't be used for the purpose of advertisement without your consent or authorization, and all that. So it's a broad thing. But in Nigeria today, it's very common that, most times people don't even know about some of these rights. They don't know. And then even people who are supposed to observe and, protect these rights don't do that. So basically, because most times when you violate one's privacy, it has a way of affecting the person's reputation and standing in the society. Just imagine a situation where maybe we exchange private chats, and then these chats are now subject of public consumption, which is not the intention of the parties. So I really wish to use this opportunity to equally inform those who are into hacking. When you hack someone's account, it is an intrusion. It is an invasion of the person's privacy. So whatever content published for public consumption arising from the act of hacking the person's account is a violation of the person's rights and is actionable, and damages are allowed. The court can grant an injunction restraining you from that, and then you pay necessary compensation to remedy the damage or injury caused the said person who right has been violated.
And I think that has also prompted this, there's a trend on social media where you see people posting private chats of people. I don't know if that is also part of it.
It is part of it. Remember, between the two persons or parties who are chatting, there is no intention or authorization on their part that chat should be disclosed or made public. It is the private affairs of these persons. It is just like accessing my own text message. It's a violation of my right to privacy. It is a violation. In fact, you see to it that there is some form of connectivity with your freedom of movement. Your freedom of movement, in as much as you are free to move, is limited. I can't just enter upon your premise without your consent. It amounts to trespass. So whatever angle one looks at it, these elements are intertwined. They have a lot in common. So when you